About 2 years ago, two of my friends, who are a couple, got engaged. They had been together for over 5 years, and he proposed to her while they were on holiday in Vietnam. He had planned the engagement really well, and it was beautiful. He got down on one knee while they were at the beach, and the sun was going down. So it was like a perfect engagement, the one that you always imagine. They weren't really sure when they wanted to get married, but about 9 months ago I received an invitation to their wedding. I was really excited when I heard the news because I knew that they had been struggling to find a venue, as there were a lot of people getting married that year. I know that a lot of people had to put off their wedding or postpone their wedding because of COVID. There were a lot of people who wanted to get married in 2020 or 2021 and they couldn't do so because of the restrictions. So there were a lot of people who planned on getting married this year. A lot of people hire a wedding planner to organise the wedding, and they actually do a lot of things like create decor items for the wedding, create seating charts so that all of your family members or friends are sat at the same table. They send the invitations and they also design them as well. And they work with the florists to design the space and your bouquet. The bouquet is the bunch of flowers that the bride usually has at a wedding. You might have seen a bouquet in a film because people usually throw it to other unmarried women at a wedding reception, and whoever catches it is supposed to be next in line to get married. It's a symbol of good luck. My friends decided not to hire a wedding planner because it can be quite expensive. I didn't really know how much they usually cost, so I looked it up online and it says that they cost £2,400 on average. People say that it might sound like a lot for something you could do yourself, but it can be very stressful because you want your wedding day to be perfect and there are a lot of things to think about and organise so that nothing goes wrong on your special day. The first thing they did was determine how much they wanted to spend on their wedding, and they didn't want to spend too much on it. So that's why they didn't want to hire a wedding planner. Then they created a guest list and they listed everyone that they wanted to invite, including their friends, family, and some colleagues from work. As they didn't want to spend much money on the wedding, they didn't invite very distant relatives that they hadn't seen for a long time because they thought that it didn't really make any sense. Then they had to start thinking about when they wanted to get married, the season, the weather, and any significant dates that they had, like other weddings that they had to attend. In the UK, the peak wedding season is between May to October, and between June and August is when the majority of UK weddings take place. Then they had to choose a venue, and it was quite difficult because it had to be a place that fit their style and budget. They knew that they didn't want to spend too much money on the venue, but they didn't want it to be an ugly or basic wedding. They wanted it to be beautiful, like the ones that they had already been to. They visited several options before they made a decision, and they went for a venue that was near my city on the outskirts, so it would be an easy place for people to get to. They sent out their invitations about 7 months in advance so that people could write it down in their diaries and let them know whether they would be able to attend. The next step was to book the key vendors like catering, the photographer, and entertainment. They decided on a menu that had 3 different options so that people had enough options to choose from on the big day. The photographer was one of their main concerns because they knew that they had to book a professional to capture all of those special moments on their day. You can't just hire any photographer because if the photos aren't very good, it's not something you can do again. You're not going to get married again because the pictures weren't good. So that is something that they took quite seriously and paid a little bit more for. As to entertainment, they booked a DJ for 3 hours. Writing your vows is something that you also have to think about when getting married. Vows are the promises and words of commitment, love and dedication that people exchange at their wedding. And you've probably seen these if you have watched a wedding scene in a film. In case you didn't know, the bride is the woman who is getting married, and the groom is the man who is getting married. Then the special friends of the bride are called bridesmaids, and the special friend of the groom is called a best man. Before people get married, some of them have a party, and a party for the groom is a stag night, and he would go out with all his male friends. And a party for the bride would be a hen night, and she would go out with her female friends. I know that in American English they have different names. A stag night is a bachelor party, and a hen do is a bachelorette party. But it's basically the same thing. My friend's wedding was absolutely beautiful, and it was one of the best weddings that I have ever been to. She looked really beautiful in her wedding dress, and he looked very smart in his tuxedo. One of my favourite things of the wedding was the wedding cake. The bride's aunt is actually a baker, so she baked the wedding cake and it was beautiful. My favourite moment from the wedding was when they exchanged their wedding rings because they were both crying. It was very emotional. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in another video.